and welcome to Chat with the Chief. I'm Roxanne Vainuku, Public Information Officer for the West Valley City Police Department, and with me is West Valley City Police Chief Lee Russo. Chief, we have a question today that has been asked by Matt, who lives in West Valley, and he wants to know, he says, "Dear Chief, what can we as West Valley citizens do to reduce excessive speeding through our neighborhoods? What can we do to help cut down on this dangerous situation? This is a time of year when we have a lot of kids outside, and this becomes a really important question."
Well, really, in almost 30 years of law enforcement, this is the most typical complaint that I've received, speeding through a residential neighborhood. Generally what we find, it's the residents that live in the neighborhood that are the problem. They're the ones that are speeding and disregarding the traffic regulations. So it's a topic amongst neighbors to remind neighbors of the speed concerns and the threats to public safety and children as people travel along the roadways. In addition to that, we do offer the ability to bring officers to monitor speed on a periodic basis, and we also have the ability to coordinate with the other departments within the city to bring equipment, to bring speed monitoring equipment, to bring traffic measuring equipment into a neighborhood so we can identify what are the accurate patterns of traffic on a roadway.
Because a lot of times if you put a police officer out there on the streets, it sort of changes those patterns, doesn't it?
Well, for anybody that's aware, yes, and paying attention to their surroundings, they're going to see the police car and they're naturally going to slow down.
And if you're seeing kind of a repeat offender, because you mentioned, sometimes it's the people living in that very neighborhood. If you see kind of a repeat offender and maybe you've talked to your neighbors, maybe nothing is working, what can you do? Do you take down a license plate number?
If you can get a particular description, especially a license plate number, a day and a time, and give that to the police, we can then track down the violator and make contact with them if necessary to remind them that there's been a complaint in the neighborhood, that they've been specifically identified in that complaint, and that we are out there monitoring.
And it's a good reminder for all of us in all of our neighborhoods to be careful. Kids are out this time of year, people are out this time of year, and we definitely want to keep them safe. Now, we should also mention that there is an opportunity this week for folks to ask questions in person if they'd like to come and talk to you. Tell us about that.
Well, absolutely. Each month I host a community meeting. It's open to all community leaders, all residents, elected officials, and business persons. The opportunity there is to discuss what is going on in the city in terms of crime, what people can do to prevent crime, and talk about general issues of any concern that are occurring inside of the communities. Even to talk about police accountability. If there's a concern about the way we've handled something, we've had some very open and frank discussions about that. I tell people, the only problem I can deal with is the problem I know about. And some of that's come up in these meetings. I'd like to see over the coming months a greater attendance. We're getting about a dozen people in each one of these meetings, and I hope in time, as word spreads and the confidence level and communication level improves with our community, we'll see that number double.
And this is typically the third Wednesday of every month, and it's held at the Cultural Center. This week will be a little different.
It is on a Thursday because our facility was booked.
Okay, so a little tricky this month, but it's at the Cultural Center. It'll be this Thursday at what time?
At 7 p.m.
At 7 p.m. And we'd like to make sure that we welcome the public to come out and have an opportunity to talk with the chief in person. If you can't get there, though, we do have this opportunity to chat with the chief, and you can send us your questions. You can reach us by email at chief@wvcpd.com. We're also on Twitter at WVCPD, and you can find us on Facebook. Send your questions in, and the chief will be happy to answer them. Thanks for watching.